Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala an-nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Yes, so this is my favorite thing because inshallah I will speak less and you will speak more. So the floor is open without any further ado. I don't want to waste any of your time. The floor is open. I think, do we have a mic facility for ladies as well? I'm guessing we do, yeah? Okay. So ladies or gents, whoever would like to ask, Bismillah. We are all ears. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
I wanted to know if the kids were not baligh, they can join in the first line with namaz.
Okay, so you've asked a very interesting question regarding ahkam of namaz, about kids joining in the first line. Inshallah, I will answer that. First of all, I want to give first priority to those questions which are regarding the topic. I pati jase pachi ame bija sawalu karausu inshallah. For first preference to those who want to ask about the topic. Mazair, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Mazair. Ahsant.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
My first question, in the last majlis,
Yeah.
yesterday, you talked about that Imam Mahdi alayhi salam
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad wa ajal faraj.
is going to manifest
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if he's going to manifest God, then
Okay.
how is it any different than what other religions say, whereby they say humans manifest God, or they consider them to be deities?
Very, very good question. I hope everyone grasped that. It's a very, very good question. So I think, not to make it very long and not to make it very philosophical, I'll try my best to answer according to the capacity which I think is in the room. First of all, we need to understand what do we mean by manifestation of God. So actually, we have to change the words. We don't say manifestation of God, we say manifestation of the attributes of God. Nothing can manifest God because Allah is an essence which is unfathomable and ununderstandable. We cannot understand Him. So we say the attributes. Okay. Now what does that mean? It means there is nothing in this universe except that it carries the signature of Allah. This is the way I explain it to people. So if I have someone who is, if I have someone who knows all about metal work, okay, his whole life he's grown up in an environment where he just deals with metal. Now if you tell him, build me a building, he's going to build it with metal because that's what he knows, right? So when you see that building, you say, this building has the signature of that architect who knows all about metal. Okay. To apply it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this world has the signature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has made it with His attributes. So wherever you look, you will see an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right now in this room, you're listening, that's an attribute of Allah. Sami', the one who listens. But to Allah, obviously on our human level. Okay. So when we say that someone manifests the attribute of God, it means they have got so much of divine nature in them, or they've worked on their divine nature so much that Allah's attributes show in that person. And we even say it in our own language. We say, Allahi manasche. What do we mean by Allahi manasche? We mean, he reminds us of Allah. He gives off a divine kind of aura. Okay, so that's what we mean. Now, when you say that, what is the difference now? There's two big differences between our Imams manifesting the attributes of God and others manifesting the attributes of God. Our Imams manifest it at the maximum level and perfect level. It could be that the attribute of Allah of kindness is not relevant for a particular situation. For example, when you want to, let's say you want to punish someone who is guilty of genocide, you wouldn't use kindness there. Kindness there doesn't make sense because he's not deserving. You would use anger, revenge. These are also names of Allah, right? So Imams, not only are they the pinnacle and perfection, they also know when to use and when not to use. They will never misuse. So they're experts. Now others may say, okay, the human beings of other religions, we take them as deities. Okay, I mean, unfortunately they do that. Now what do we do about it? We say Imams are utmost manifestations of the attributes of Allah, but they are the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the big punchline of our religion. Whenever anyone tells you, if anyone ever tells you, you guys are full of ghulu and extremism and you take the Imams to a different level, you say, what do we say in tashahhud? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu. First and foremost, Rasul Khuda and Aimma are abde Khuda. They are the servants of Allah. Then after that, after achieving servanthood, you can put everything else on them. Rasul, Nabi, Wahi, revelation, perfect, brilliant, role model, manifestation. All of that comes after abd. If they're not abd, they're nothing. They are abd of Allah first of all, and then they are everything else. I hope that answers your question. I'm trying to keep it short and as I can, yeah. You have more? You want others to? Bismillah.
So I'm not sure which one of the lectures was you had talked about the Imam figuratively, I guess, putting his hand over people's heads.
Yeah.
And he said they would akal kamil, they would go to perfection. So how will people change? Are they going to stop sinning? What will happen after the Imam does that?
Very good question and a very important question. It's not that people will become ma'soom, but they will start to operate at a different level. Imam, the main thing that I wanted to get across in the lectures is that Imam will remove the obstacles of human progress. So right now, human progress is being thwarted or stopped by greed and fear and materialism and hoarding and that kind of thing. Imam will remove all that. So by doing that, and by his presence, and by his role model nature, people will automatically start to look at life in a different way. I guarantee you, any of you, I've been fortunate in my life that I've experienced this. Maybe you have as well, I'm not sure. But I guarantee you, you spend some time with our senior ulama, our maraji, you'll see you yourself will just change. You will just, I can't explain it, but you'll just see life differently. And this is a ma'soom imam, wali khuda. So when people see him, number one, he will inspire them. And they'll just say, this is something different. We've tried every other type of politician and leader in the world. They've always let us down. This man is something special. That's number one. Number two, he will remove the obstacles of progress. Number three, he will become a role model. Number four, he will unite people. So we didn't get to that part actually in the lectures. But that was something, a major part of his work is he will unite people. He'll even pay people's debts. He'll even settle dues. He'll even patch up people based on their small shortcomings. And, he'll help with these. So he'll remove the obstacles of progress. That itself, khud ba khud, will result in people becoming more spiritual, close to God, better people.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback on that question. Again, going back to yesterday's lecture, you said that we are given 2 parts out of 27 of knowledge. So basically, when The Imam comes, they'll be given the other 95%.
Yeah.
So my question is three parts. One, what will they do with that knowledge? That's a lot of knowledge. Two, are we not at a disadvantage at this time compared to them? And three, are we going to be judged differently because we don't have all that knowledge?
Number one, what are we going to do with that knowledge? Well, I mean, it opens so many avenues for us, so much untapped potential for us that we can use it the way we want. And we will soar in our understanding, in our intellect and these things. I gave you a few examples that some people say maybe, it will open up travel or, the speed of travel. I don't want to say certain things with that. I don't want people to quote me and, they say that, oh, Sheikh Abbas came and he told us we're going to travel at the speed of light. I don't want to say certain things, but, you can use some of your imagination and think, if until now we're able to control a robot on Mars, from Earth, we're able to control a robot on Mars based on 8% of knowledge, then when 92% comes, what will we be able to do? Maybe diseases, maybe the earth, maybe the environment, maybe all of these things. So it will open up amazing horizons for us. Second thing was, will we be judged differently? Why are we at a disadvantage? We are at a disadvantage because we don't have Waliullah amongst us. That's why we're at a disadvantage. Is it unfair? Everything is fair and unfair, relative. Would you rather have been at the time of the Prophet or now? Someone may say, well, if I would have seen the face of the Prophet, I would have been inspired. But I would challenge that there were many people who saw the face of the Prophet and they were munafiq. It's all relative. It's all relative. So are we disadvantaged? Definitely without Imam of the time we are disadvantaged. But Allah knows who to put where and when. That we have to trust in the wisdom of God. But fundamentally, without Imam-e-Zaman, we are disadvantaged, yes. That's why we should yearn for him. And the third thing is, will we be judged differently if we have more knowledge? Yeah, I guess we will be, we will be, but we'll have so many advantages during Imam's time. We'll have Imam with us. There's no pleasure, there's no bounty, there's no measure available compared to having our Imam with us. This is what I wanted to get across. I don't know if I've been able to, that we should be desperate for Imam. Baki sab baad mein. Everything else later on. Imam should come. Faraj should come. Rescue should happen. Yeah, ladies, yes. Yes, sisters.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
I've heard that the second step you take to get to the Imam, when he comes, you'll be there. But what if you need to wear your hijab or change your clothes?
Very interesting question. Yes, if you need to make any preparations like wearing hijab or clothes or anything like that, then that's absolutely fine. That is understood, that as soon as you're ready, inshallah, you'll take a step and you'll be at the side of the Kaaba and you'll hear Imam's voice saying, Ana baqiyatullah. And you will respond saying, Assalamu alayka ya baqiyatullah. So whatever state you're in, inshallah, those few minutes or seconds that you need, you can take, and inshallah, you'll say your labbaik to Imam-e-Zaman and you'll be there at the Kaaba. By the way, that is the famous title of Imam-e-Zaman. That is the title that he will introduce himself as. He will not use any other title in that first moment next to the Kaaba. He will actually say, I am the Baqiyatullah. And we will address him as, Assalamu alayka ya Baqiyatallah. Very special title. Very good question again. What does Baqiyatullah mean? This is in the Holy Quran. Baqiyatullah khayrun lakum in kuntum mu'minin. This is from the story of Nabi Shu'aib. Nabi Shu'aib, his people had a a habit of cheating in business. So when he would tell them to stop cheating, be honest in your dealings, they would tell him, by cheating we get more. Being honest, we get less. So his response was, the little you get from being honest is better for you if you are indeed believers. In other words, no one should think that by cheating I get much more, but by being honest I get much less. That much less, khayrun lakum, is better for you. And so that is called baqiyatullah, the small amount remaining which is linked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. जो छोटा मिकदार रह जाता है और उसकी निस्बत खुदा की तरफ होती है, that is called baqiyatullah. So Imam Zaman is the last remaining thing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hujjat akhiri khuda is the last hujjat of Allah, hence he is called baqiyatullah, the last remnant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum assalam.
Your discourses have indeed been very beneficial to us. They have added a new dimension to our understanding of istirar and intidar. To change our passive stand on both these subjects, what literature or books would you suggest that we read for us to be more active and effective in both these processes?
Yeah. The thing is, people don't read anymore. That's one of the big issues we have. But if anyone was going to read, inshallah, then the book by Ayatollah Safi, Gulpaygani, is it The Last Luminary? I don't know, the title in English is what exactly. It's on alislam.org. It might be The Last Luminary. So yeah, that is a good book. But more than that, I hate to promote my own things, but I run a weekly session on the tafsir of Ziyarat-e-Jamia Kabira. I'm going to ask Jamaat actually to put it on the newsletter if possible. Nothing is expected of anyone. There's no fees, there's no nothing. Fi sabilillah. And that we are breaking down each line of Ziyarat-e-Jamia in praise of the Imams. In praise of the Imams. Unashamedly, unapologetically, our Imams have taken a beating in our community and outside the community. Their sha'an, their status, their position has been reduced in many people's minds. I am trying my utmost with the help of Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman to promote the Imams, to promote their merits, to promote their faza'il from the ziyarat of Jamia Kabira, based on the writings of Ayatollah Jawadi Amali. And you'll see how systematically we go through one by one. We have a WhatsApp group, you're welcome to join. You don't want to join the group, no problem. We have a YouTube channel, it is uploaded there. I think we've done 100 sessions so far. And we are 3 out of 12 means 3, 6, 9, 12, 25% way through. So we can expect 400 sessions in total, approx. Inshallah, if I'm alive. If I'm not alive, someone else will do it, no problem. But we're trying our best. So to answer your question, that is a good resource, I feel. 20 minutes every Sunday it is done live. People join from all over the world. If you can't make it, YouTube.
How can we get the details of the WhatsApp?
I'll give you, inshallah. I become very high tech. I have a QR code. You just snap the QR code and you'll be directed to the WhatsApp group.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I remember when I was studying religion, our teacher said, if you make a niyyah that you want to be around when our 12th Imam will come out, it can be accepted. Is this true?
Niyatul mu'min khayrun min amalihi. Hadith says, the niyat of a mu'min is better than the action of a mu'min. So yes, it is true. However, does that mean you live, no matter what happens? Let's say Imam Zaman comes after 500 years, inshallah, it's not that long. But let's say, does it mean you live until? No, it means even if you die, Allah will bring you out of your grave ready for Imam Zaman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum salam.
In one of your majalises, you had mentioned that one person had gone to ask.
I think, hold the microphone so then
Mubarak.
the sisters can
One
also.
person had gone to ask for his ration,
Yeah.
meaning that the Imam Zamana sent somebody with the bags and gave it to him. However, in the end, this person mentioned that do not ask for this again. My understanding,
Not quite, but yeah.
my understanding of all the imams and everybody, they give information or answers according to the capacity of the person. If that person's need was food, why did he get an answer that you should not bother Imam because of this?
Yeah.
However, you had mentioned that there is another thing that he could do to enhance himself than asking for food. But I stopped right there to think that maybe his need was food and he was poor enough to ask for that. So the other answer, was it really necessary for him to say that? After
I got
judging
you.
the
I got
capacity.
you. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so I want to make an observation first before I answer you. The observation is this. Sometimes we narrate something, the intention or the objective behind narrating it is something completely different. But sometimes our minds, they hold on to very small, minute things. And that bothers us. So sometimes I would like you to look at the real objective behind all of this rather than the intermediate steps. But I understand that sometimes the steps, they can sometimes get in our mind that why did that happen and why did he say that? The objective was, you can absolutely call Imam Zaman for the most mundane, basic needs you have. Absolutely. You can call on Allah for them as well, and we should. And we should call on Imam Zaman for them, and we should. But we should not stop there. That was the objective. Don't stop at just asking for your ration and for your basic things. Imam Zaman and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they offer much more than this. What about asking for character, akhlaq, honesty, tawfiq, spirituality, nur, mercy, grace, love, akhirat, time of the grave, time of barzakh, time of the soul coming out, improvement in aql, intellect, improvement in reducing shahwat and desires. We don't usually ask for these things. Imam Zaman, by the way, did not say that comment. The man who gave the ration gave that comment. But it's fine. Even if Imam Zaman would have given that comment, we would have still said, yes, Mawla, you have a point. You have a point in that don't only ask him for these things. Also ask him for much higher, greater things. You get my point?
Our imams are given according to the capacity of understanding of a person. Maybe that person at that particular moment, which I feel that Imam should have known, Imam would know
No, I don't think that's fair to say. I think what we would say is, I think I know what you're trying to say, but I'll put it into different words.
Okay.
Imam, what we would say is Imam saw that he had even greater capacity than what he was asking for.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah? But again, brothers, sometimes we have an objective. Let's not get too hung up on the minutiae. We look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, don't limit yourself to these things. You have much more, every human being has much more capacity. Yeah. Bismillah. Are we okay? Are we done with time? Yes, brother.
So in one of your majlis, you mentioned that when raja happens, like it'll get to a point where people are just used to people coming back to life. So will raja start before the imam comes and then it will become normal by the time he makes his zuhur, or will that happen after?
Some raj'at will happen. Raj'at means people coming back to the world from a deceased place, right? So they're dead, but they'll come back to the world. Some raj'at will happen soon, and others will happen over time. So we have in Dua Ahad, for example, that if I am to die before the zuhur of Imam Zaman, then raise me from my grave to be with him. So some will happen very soon, others will happen as we gradually progress. Yes, Mullah, મને થયું તમે ભૂલી જાશો. Can non-baligh children stand in the front line? The issue is, with the non-baligh children, there cannot be two of them. There cannot be two of them. Because the distance of one namazi to another namazi is the distance of one person. This is usually how we say it. One person's distance is the max. There should not be more than that. When you have two non-baligh children, then that is like one person's distance. So then it breaks the connection. So now you'll ask me, what about one non-baligh child? It's allowed, but I would say better not to, because you have, issues of najasat and movement and disturbance and this kind of thing. So the recommendation is better not to. But it doesn't mean if there's one baligh child, it means the namaz is broken. No, it's not like that. Two, yes, it's an issue. Ekma na thai, because eknu distance etlu na hoine be namazi vache. Finish? We do it? Thank you very much for your questions. I hope. Oh, okay. Ya Allah.
Just one last one. Quick
Bismillah.
one. Did our Imam or Imam Mahdi, inclusive, did they have free will? And if they did, how can you explain infallibility?
Subhanallah. This is a long one, but I will try my best to make it short. Every human being has free will, regardless if they're infallible or not infallible. They have free will. A'imma alayhimus salam had free will. That doesn't contradict infallibility, because infallibility comes from the basis of knowledge, not force. There are two. Look at where infallibility comes from. Infallibility, ismat, does not come from a base of not having choice. It comes from the base of having extreme knowledge. So right now, we have free will. We are thirsty. We take water, we fill it, we drink it, quench thirst. Now you see you're thirsty. There's an extremely dirty, disgusting, full of waste swamp. You're thirsty. And there's all sorts of things in there. There are flies buzzing around and whatnot. Will you drink? But you have free will. But will you drink? But you have free will. But will you drink? No. Why? Because of your knowledge. You know, if I drink from there, although I can, but if I do, it's going to do me more harm, more damage. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be revolting. I don't want to go anywhere near there. This is how Aimma work. They work on the basis of extreme knowledge. And when they look at a guna, it's so repulsive and disgusting, they will not even go near it, which we do not see because we do not have that level of knowledge. Umar comes to Amirul Mu'mineen. We'll finish with this. We always finish with the mention of Ali, alayhi salam. Umar comes to Amirul Mu'mineen. One more, okay. Umar comes to Amirul Mu'mineen and says, how come whenever I ask you something, you answer so quickly? You don't even have to think. We're talking about knowledge of Imams. Amirul Mu'mineen says, Umar, how many fingers do you have on your hand? He said, 5. He said, did you need to think? He said, no. He said, in that same way, all the knowledge is displayed in front of me. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Yes, we had one more? Ladies, yeah. Bismillah, sisters.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So, as in our majlis, you told us that whenever you do a dua to so just take your, when you will put your hand to yourself, so just put it on your face and head. So does we have to do this thing also in namaz?
Yeah, I will repeat the question just so I make sure I've understood it. That I mentioned a hadith from 6th Imam where he said that after you do dua, rub your hands on your face and on your head. And is it also in namaz? In namaz, I suppose you mean when we do kunut. In kunut you can, but not so much that someone looking at you will say, is he praying namaz or not? Not to that extent, not to so much, not with so much delay. We should not do anything in namaz where someone may doubt, is this namaz or not? Okay? So for example, ruku, there are some ways of doing ruku. We always do ruku in a certain way, but let's say someone says, I don't want to put my hands on my knees, I'll put them in another position. I'll go into a different kind of bowing down. I'll go even more down. Okay, but don't do anything which someone will look at you and say, is this namaz or not? So if you're doing kunut like this, Allahu Akbar, you rub, it's fine. Too much, and someone may say, is this namaz or not? Then it's a problem. I hope that's clear. Jalo. I think we are done.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Okay, when you travel, the namaz is qasr, correct?
Yes.
Let's say I traveled just for 4 days, and for some reason I got sick over there, and I just could not pray. But when I come back to my hometown, does that namaz have to be qasr qaza, or I have to recite it qaza, but should it be qasr or full namaz? Because my qaza was for qasr.
First of all, let me tell you that under no circumstance is namaz ever to be missed, even in illness, unless it's something you tell me like I was in a coma or something like that, that's a different matter. But any conscious person who is able to pray must pray, even if they just pray with their eyelids moving and their tongue just slightly doing zikr. Whatever form we can do for namaz, we have to do it. This is number one. Number two, on the issue of traveling, you pray your qaza where it was qaza. So if it was qaza during your travels, then you pray qasr. You'll pray qasr even if you come home. And if you made it qaza at home, you'll pray full qaza even if you are on a travel, even if you're on a journey. So it depends where it became qaza. I hope that's clear. Okay, now I'm not going to ask for any more questions. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم يا غفور الرحيم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليك يا رسول